Most women live their lives on autopilot, thinking they have no control over reality and that they should struggle more, they should work harder, they should grind more and more to obtain results. If you are one of them, you are probably not aware that you make decisions every single time in every second of your life, and that all of these decisions stacked together form your day-to-day life and the consequences, and this cycle of working harder, achieving less than you think, thinking you have to work more, and ultimately feeling like you are in a chaos where you have no control. This habit stacking generates a waterfall effect of events that will lead you to rules or success. It depends on what you focus on and the mindset you use. Hi, I'm Vhalessiah, your favorite self-empowerment freak, and here we build self-mastery and become high value by building self-mastery skills and high income skills. This channel is all about dark femininity and becoming the goddesses of our reality. As a woman, it's time for you to remind yourself of your power. You are the embodiment of the dark feminine, and your job is to relax, attract, and live in the flow. It's my utmost pleasure to remind you of the power you have, of your birthright, and of your job, which is to simply relax, attract, and be spoiled. And it's my pleasure to reintroduce you to the life you really deserve and should be living right now. You are the engine that moves society, you are the source of life, and you deserve that place. You deserve the throne. You deserve the throne, you deserve the resources, and you deserve access to those resources. And the first step to get access to your resources is to become high value. And when I say high value, I mean that you know about your power, you have high self-esteem, you know your worth, and you have all the tools and resources to set the right boundaries and to obtain the life that you want. A high value woman, it's not about morals or ethics, it's about knowing yourself, feeling the power of yourself, not letting society and people and circumstances ruining your day and messing up with your mental health, and simply being able to center yourself, ground, make choices, set boundaries, and make other people and yourself respect them, and then leading your life with grace, with joy, with alignment and purpose. If you are ready to start the journey, I am going through the journey myself, and I'm putting together the toolkit that I think is helpful to obtain the results we want. And the way to become high value is by mastering certain skills. Now I have good news and bad news. Bad news first, you have to put the work. You have to be consistent, you have to face your fears, and you have to practice a lot to change your mindset and rewire your brain. Because if you're stuck in a narrative, you have to find your way to change the narrative and to finally create a new story about yourself that serves you the purpose of living happily and living with all the resources and the abundance you desire. The good news is this video is the key for you to feel fulfilled and to finally obtain the tools and the method and all the strategies to begin your rediscovery journey. What we are aiming for is mind mastery, because everything starts from your mind. The whole engine of your entire life is your mind. Once you are able to master it, you are able to obtain what you want. And no obstacle is insurmountable. From my experience as a coach and in my personal life, the very first skill in your toolkit is the love assumption. But what is the love assumption, you may ask? The love assumption is a universal law, so it's like gravity. It's not a law made by humans, that states that an assumption shapes your reality, or assumptions in general shape your reality. An assumption is a belief that you have that is so strong and rooted within you, but has little to no proof. So if you assume something without having any proof, but you live as if that assumption, that belief was true, it becomes true and it hardens into your reality. You have no proof, but you believe something so much and you live by it, you swear by it, and it becomes, as I said, an assumption. So something you already believe is true, you live as if it was true, it becomes true. And the love assumption takes a psychological concept and gives it more power, more dimension, and it helps us understand why and how our beliefs and our mind influences not only our lives and our day-to-day choices, but also the world in general, the external world and the events. So when you think, oh, I'm just lucky, or I'm not lucky, or oh, I was thinking about that person, The law of assumption, energies and vibrations explain what's happening. But let's start with the psychological concept. I'm talking about the self-fulfilling prophecy, which states that we take action to confirm our conscious and subconscious beliefs. The brain loves being right. So if you have a belief, you'll do everything you can to confirm that belief, whether it's consciously, as I said, or subconsciously. When I explain the self-fulfilling prophecy and the law of assumption, I always talk about this example. Here in Italy, the 17th of Friday of whatever month brings bad luck. I know in the US it's the 13th, to us it's the 17th. Let's say that you believe a lot strongly that the 17th is not a lucky day. Friday 17th, it's not a lucky day. And let's say that you wake up late on that fateful Friday and your day starts really badly, you don't have breakfast, so you are late, you are stressed, the job doesn't go that well because you lack energy, you lack the calmness, so the entire day doesn't go the way you want it to. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy, because you check your phone and you discover that you didn't set the alarm. So it's not like the alarm didn't ring because there's something wrong. It's because you didn't set it the night before. You subconsciously took action to confirm your belief about the Friday 17th of the month. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's say that you set the alarm, but it still doesn't ring. This is the law of assumption. You set the alarm, but your belief is so strong that your energy, your vibrations, the belief influences the world, influences your 3D, your environment so much that you obtain what you desire, what you assume is true. So there is the level of conscious and subconscious, so the mind and the actions that you take. And there is also the world, the external world that adapts to your belief. This is the law of assumption. To sum it up, when you believe something so strongly, it guides your choices and your entire reality. And the set of beliefs is called the belief system. According to the Oxford Review, and I'm reading right now, belief systems refer to the core principles, values and ideologies that individuals hold, often shaped by cultural, societal, religious and personal influences. These systems form the lens through which individuals perceive the world, influencing their attitudes, behaviors, and interactions with others. You experience your life since you were born, and through that experience, you extract information that guides your entire life. The more you experience, the more you extract information and create schemes and the belief system. You basically create a set of rules you live by. Since the belief system is the lens through which you interpret your reality and it's the guidance, it's the set of rules, if you want to change your entire life because you are in a circumstance, you are in a situation you dislike, you have to change your mind, specifically your assumptions and your belief system. So the scheme is this: you have the belief system, the lens through which you analyze the world, the schemes that you use to take action and to interpret the world. All of these generate your assumptions about the world and your beliefs, so the single beliefs, and these, through the law of assumption and the self-fulfilling prophecy, generate the results you're living. So if you change your assumptions and you change your belief system, you rewire your brain and your narrative, you generate a waterfall effect of all events and principles and even actions that align with what you want. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but if I am living in a certain situation, it's not because I wanted it. How dare you tell me this? I'm not saying this. I'm saying that if you have only known the worst about the world, about the people, if you have been living in a toxic environment, the choices you make will lead you to what you already know. So if you only have knowledge of toxic relationships, how can you know what a healthy relationship looks like? How can you know how to choose people that are healthy for you and not toxic? When discomfort, when unsafety feels like a comfort zone and feels like your safety, it's because you only know that. So you have to change or rewire the thoughts, because you cannot keep going and taking action to go to that point. If you want to live in a healthy, happy relationship, you have to understand what healthy and not healthy means. You have to understand why you are choosing the toxic people. And this is the only way you can get out of the toxic environment and the toxic people that you have around. But it's not your fault. It's just that you only know that. And if you want to change, you can change. And the product of the change, it's gonna be your desired relationship, your desired job, workplace, whatever. But you have to change how you think before, if you want to achieve a good result. If you are someone who uses certain substances, the only way to stop is to reframe and rewire your brain. It's not your fault if you ended up in certain situations, but it's your responsibility to get out of it if you want to be happy, healthy, satisfied, and access your inner goddess. This may sound like tough love, but nobody can save you if it doesn't come from you. A major role in your belief system comes from the so-called self-concept. The self-concept is a collection of beliefs regarding yourself. It's what you think about yourself, what you think you deserve, how much you think you're worthy. It's about your self-esteem, it's about your knowledge about yourself, it's about accepting yourself. The self-concept is you, how you read yourself and how you see yourself. Hence, it's about how you perceive yourself in the world, with other people, when you are by yourself too. The self-concept is the specific lens that talks about you and your inner world. And it's built through habits, past trauma, self-esteem, choices, and belief systems in general. Clear and simple, if you think you're worthy 100, you will get 100. If you think you're worthy 1000, you get 1000. But guess what happens if you think and you assume that you're worthy 0? Your identity dictates your actions, your perceptions, and your choices. So if you are not happy with where you are in the moment, it's because of your self-concept. So think clearly about what you tell about yourself, what you talk about every single day, your mental hygiene. What do you watch? What do you consume? Do you think you're only worthy if you attain certain goals? Do you believe that you will be happy, that you will be satisfied only if you obtain something? Do you assume that you are boring or lazy? What are you telling about yourself to yourself? If you're watching this video, it's because you know you deserve more. You know you have this dark, strong, powerful force within you that is trying to get out to surface and that you want to express. I know for sure that the reason why you are here, it's because your self-concept is trying to tell you that if you want to have more, you have to change. Your self-concept is speaking to you. I know you have this subtle power that you can access sometimes, but it's not usually out there, and that's because your self-concept and the stories you tell to yourself aren't purposeful for what you want to achieve. For example, if you think you're poor and you will be poor forever, but you want to change, but deep inside you think you're poor, you deserve to be poor, or there is no way out of poverty for you, then your self-concept is misaligned with what you really want. It's not in tune with your true desire, because you think you want money, but you feel you're poor, you make poor choices, you surround yourself with people that talk about money and poverty, you consume content that always reminds you that you are poor, hence you'll keep being poor, but not because it's your fault, but because if you fear poverty, if you are poor and you think you are gonna be poor forever, consciously and subconsciously, you will make the choices that will keep you stuck in that situation. The trickiest part of having a misaligned self-concept is that if you believe something, you make choices that confirm the belief, and so you have the reinforcement of your beliefs. So your mind wants to be right, you make choices that confirm that your mind is right, and you feel like you're stuck in a cycle, because if you believe I am poor, you want money, but you believe you're poor, the mind will help you make choices that keep you in poverty, and so you enter in a loop where you always receive confirmation of poverty that leads you to have more anxiety, that leads you to reinforce your identity of someone who is poor. Hence, the identity dictates your choices. And as we said, there is the belief system, the lenses, and then there are the assumptions that regulate your choices. So your assumptions dictate your choices. Hence, if you are stuck in a cycle of poverty, you are probably gonna repeat it if you don't master your mind, because your mind wants to be right and you fear being poor, but your mind wants you to be in the comfort zone, and so you have confirmation every single time that you're poor. The identity of poverty gets reinforced. This is what we don't want, obviously. Since I've started my self-discovery journey, I decided to work smarter and not harder, so I created my framework, which is called Rewire, that helps me every single time to laser focus on what's happening and know immediately what to do. Rewire stands for R, recognize a pattern. So, for example, you are stuck in poverty. Why? What's the pattern that leads you every single time to make the choices? What are the set of choices and the beliefs that lead you to poverty over and over again? Then there is the E, express the assumption, which means, what do I always tell myself? What do I assume is true? What is the belief I have right now that leads me to poverty? The choices come from the assumption, so you understand the pattern, you understand the type of choices you make, you think about where those choices come from. Do they come from a specific phrase, a set of phrases, certain actions? They come from your mind. So what is happening in your mind every single day that keep you stuck? W stands for word assessment. Analyze what the affirmations that you repeat yourself every single time are telling to you about yourself. Do these affirmations help you to feel in love with yourself, to feel high valued, prioritize yourself? What are you telling to yourself about your worth and about you? I stands for install a new assumption. It's so easy. If repeating yourself a story every single time is what led you to where you are right now, just start by telling yourself a new affirmation. If you always think, oh, I'm poor, I always struggle, search for affirmations that you tell every single time that are against this narrative. We have to shift the narrative. So in order to shift the narrative, you have to talk to yourself highly. So search for affirmations that you feel lead you to your goals. R stands for release your old story. Once you have analyzed it, you understand what's happening within you, why you have lived like you did until now. Once you understood and you have a clear idea and patterns, release it. It's the last time. It's the old story. You only need it because you want to laser focus onto what's working against you. So you want to go to the core. In order for you to go to the core, you need to rethink about your old story. But past, present, and future aren't a thing. There is only the present. So if you keep telling yourself the old story, you will still live it as if it was real. You need to assume that your new story is your reality. So you analyze, you go to the core, then you get rid of it. You do not live assuming that that story is true and that is you. E stands for embodying. Now that you have all the tools you need, you have to live as if you already were that person. That requires you to make research. How will the person who doesn't feel fear of money, who has good relationship with, alcohol, how do these people feel, act? What choices do they make? You already are that person, so start acting and thinking as if you already were that person. And we have internet, so you can easily get access to their thoughts, their opinions, their beliefs. You'll have to study a little bit and practice, but start right now by simply giving hypotheses on how you would act and feel, and start to live like that, start to behave like that. When you feel lost, you are most likely lacking the structure to analyze the situation and determine the next steps. Now that you know the power words and choices have, you can start to reflect on what's going against you right now. Before you think about your environment and other people, I suggest you look within yourself, because you only have control over that. Once you change your inner self, the external reality will inescapably adapt. I am a coach and I offer coaching services, so feel free to check the link down below and in the pinned comment if you want to work with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!